Good afternoon. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Welcome to Tea Time with MGA, a new webinar series geared towards women, an initiative of the MGA's Women's Advisory Council. So just a brief background, the MGA, the Metropolitan Golf Association, created the Women's Advisory Council initiative in 2019 to provide advocacy for women in golf in the Met area, focusing on events, education, communication, and networking. Women helping women. The main mission of the Women's Advisory Council is to support women in golf in the Met area, specifically pertaining to education, development, as well as strengthening our connection with our female membership and overall female participation with our network of clubs. So we're so excited to have each and every one of you today for our inaugural webinar. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, just enter them right in the question box and we will get to them. Helping us produce the webinar series is Gia Levski, LPGA professional and founder of Golf Experiences with Her. A little bit about Gia. Gia Levski has spent over 25 years in the golf industry and is nationally recognized as a top professional golf instructor. Gia started Golf Experiences for Her as a way to strengthen relationships and build comfort, leaving women feeling energized, enriched, and confident in their game, excited to spend time at their golf club, and ready to accept their next golf invitation. So without further ado, Gia.
Thank you. Thanks, Kira. Hi, everyone. Hi, ladies. How are you? Okay, so when the MGA reached out and they wanted to do something nice for their female members, we kind of tossed around a bunch of ideas. And these lunchtime gatherings seemed to strike us as something that would be fun, informational, and get us all geared up for a great golf season. So our goal for our time together is to hopefully get you thinking about some things pertaining to your game that you haven't thought about before. So possibly instill a little more confidence in your approach to practicing and playing, and most importantly, just really get you excited about your golf game. Now, like Kira said, you know, there's a comment box in the bottom. I know we've all been on so many Zoom calls lately, but our goal is to kind of make this as interactive as possible. And so if you have questions and you want to just toss them out, we'll try to toss it back to you. So give you good information and try to answer some things that maybe you've been wanting to know about. So I'm going to introduce our guests. I'm really excited to introduce Meetmarin Crowley. Sadly, right now, she is having some technical difficulties. I'm hoping she's on. I see her. She's having some Wi-Fi issues, and I know we've all had some recently, so we're going to do the best we can, and we'll kind of just see how this goes. So let me introduce Meetmarin. Meetmarin is a PGA professional. She's from Long Island, and she's worked in the golf industry for 16 years. She's trained all levels of players, beginners to elite golfers. She was a Division I college player, and then she really spent a lot of time working with college golfers. She was a Division I head coach at Hofstra for about 8 years. So her goal as an instructor is she likes to focus on the student that's in front of her. So she really gives them individual attention and makes sure that she's you know, focusing exactly on that. Yay, there she is. Okay, good. So I'm just telling them about you, Meetmarin. So she is also an online health and wellness coach, and she's been doing that for about 7 years. I think she's kind of found her passion in this, and she's been pushing but she's been getting her golfers into a really great place with health and wellness. So Meetmarin's goal, she likes to help women improve their mindset with food, and she integrates simple fitness into their daily routines at home to help their lifestyle both on and off the course. So with that said, hi Meetmarin. I'm so glad that you're our guest today. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yay, you got it back. That's awesome. She's in beautiful Florida.
Yeah, I'm on my hotspot.
Yes. Oh, terrific. That's wonderful. Great. All right. So
I was not gonna not let this happen.
No, I'm glad. I was ready. I was prepared. I have a lot of fitness stuff that I've been doing over the years, so I had stuff ready. So what we thought was, you know, Meetmarin and I got talking, and we were trying to figure out what we thought we could share that would really, you know, make an impact. And we both, but tell them a little bit about what we see when we get to the golf course, what everybody does, and not just women, this is men and women. What do they do, Maren, when they get to the golf course if they want to practice or they have a game going?
So say they have a 9 o'clock tee time, they are showing up maybe at 8:50. They're going right to the driving range. They do a few of these, and then they just rip drivers. They rip about 10 drivers, which wouldn't be the club that I would personally choose, but they do that, and then they rush off to the tee, and their anxiety levels through the roof because they've been doing all the things, right? We know that you're super busy, and that leads you to being open to injury. It may lead you to a higher score as well, because it's taking you about 6 holes to warm up and to kind of calm down, and that's the typical scene week in, week out. I see it every Tuesday with my ladies, and I also see it with the men too, because they're trying to balance their game and their family time. So it's a vicious cycle.
So are there some things that we should be doing at home before we go, or some things that we should be doing at the golf course? How do we kind of, can we do a little bit of both?
Yeah, of course. So we'll talk to you about the nutrition piece in a little bit, but first and foremost, I want to talk about stretching. And I know stretching is not the most glamorous thing in the world. It's not the sweaty selfie that you like to have, right? But stretching is super important. And I think that a lot of people, they think golf is a recreation activity, and they don't really look at it as a sport, which it is. It's an Olympic sport at this point. So we got to treat our bodies like we are Olympic athletes, just like soccer and lacrosse and gymnastics and all those other things. Now, I will say, because sometimes our outfits don't exactly make for the most conducive of wear for stretching, you might want to do some of these stretches in the ladies' locker room before you head out. You might want to do them at home, because if you're wearing a skirt, it might not be the best, but hey, on Tuesdays, it's pretty much ladies at my club. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through a few stretches that you should be doing prior to playing golf, but also every day. And the reason why I say that is because we're in the car, hunched over, we're sitting at desks, we're on our phones like this all the time. And what happens is our shoulders end up being super concave. So we want to look great when we're getting older. We want to have great posture, but also it's posture, as Gia and I will tell you, it is key to having a great golf game. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna move you guys down. Listen, this is like this is ad hoc right here because of this Wi-Fi. So I'm gonna move you down. Hopefully you can see me, and I'm gonna put a towel down. You can do this in the, like I said, locker room or on the range. Super simple, okay? So I'm gonna take a towel. Ready? Now, if you've done yoga before, some of these moves are going to be very familiar to you, okay? But if you've never done yoga, I highly recommend yoga and Pilates, key for your golf game. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do cat-cow. Now, like I said, this is why you might want to do it at home, okay? So you're going to get on your hands and knees. Let me make sure you can see me. I'm pretty sure you can. There you go.
Looking good.
You can see my recycle bin too. We're all about being green here. Okay, so we're on our hands and knees. Now, literally, you're going to be like a cat. You're going to arch your back. You're going to release into cow. Now, breathing is super important. So I want you to breathe in through the nose and then out through the mouth. So you would inhale and then exhale. Now, a breathing count that I like to follow is the 4-4-4. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Doing that simple breathing, even if you don't have time for the stretching, doing the breathing in any situation will take you from here to here. It is science. We won't go into all that, but it's science that actually lowers your heart rate and helps calm you down. So, cat into cow. Now, one of my other favorite ones, while we're down here, is I want to make sure that you're doing something to open up your hip flexors. So when you're doing your hip flexors, the reason why that's important is because you have to load, right? You have to load into this right hip or lefty if you're a left-handed player. Okay, so you'll get down on the ground, and you're gonna make a 90-degree angle. You'll put your hands, your fists together. You'll put them in between your knees. Now, literally, it's called a windshield wiper because you're gonna move your legs like this. Same thing. I want you to do the count. You can count till 20. You can take a break, and then you're gonna do it again. Most people, I find the reason why that they have a hard time in their golf swing is because of tight hip flexors. I love all fitness, but I will warn you that if you do Peloton, if you do SoulCycle, you do any of those things, you have to do all of these stretches twice as much because biking is very hard on your hip flexors. So it's a great workout, it's fun, and it's all the things with the music and the live, but you gotta make sure that you're stretching out these hips. Now, hamstrings are another one, okay? And I'm gonna show you one more yoga move, okay? It's gonna be called pigeon. We got all the animals here today, okay? You're gonna take your leg and you're gonna make it go across you. Now this might be tough, so to make it harder, you're gonna put your arms out, but if you're having trouble getting into this position, it's okay to just be right here. But if you wanna always make it a deeper stretch, you'll go out further. Now, when you do yoga and you do Pilates, the point is to feel a stretch, not to feel pain. So anytime you feel pain, you gotta back up out.
Is
If you do these stretches,
is your leg at 90 degrees?
it is. My leg's at 90 degrees and my opposite leg is back straight.
Okay.
Okay? And you would just stay down here and you're gonna hold this one. You're gonna hold it for a good 30 seconds. It's actually one of my favorites. You're gonna feel it all up your glute, into your hip flexor, and on your outside of your quads, okay? Now, to transition, you're gonna take your hands, you're gonna push back, downward dog, okay? And then you can take this other leg and that leg's gonna come forward now. You're gonna find that one of your sides is gonna be tighter than the other, most of the time. That's totally normal. So same thing, you're gonna get down and you'll do this hold for 30 seconds. Like I said, a lot of these you might wanna do on carpet. You don't wanna, if you're wearing white pants, you don't want grass stains. But I'm telling you, doing these each and every night or before you go out and play is very, very important. Now, you're like, okay, Meetmarin, what about at the course, like on the driving range? Because now we have your lower body activated, we have your hips activated. I'm gonna show you what you're gonna do for your shoulders, okay? I'm gonna move you up. Okay. Now, golf club, okay? I'm gonna back up so you can see me. So this is the move that we're gonna be doing is a forward lunge, right? So I'm sure you've done forward lunges before where you're here, okay? You're gonna take your golf club and literally, I want you to swing. I want you to activate your obliques, okay? You'll do 5 on each side, and then I want you to switch. The left leg will go forward, and now I want you to go the opposite way. So you're going to swing both sides. You got to activate both sides of your obliques. Trust me, you're gonna be like, whoa. They're gonna be tight. And same kind of thing. I always do a lot of stuff with my club. So I will be sure to do over my shoulder and down. Anyone who plays golf with me knows that if I am, because I'm guilty of it too, rushing to the tee in between lessons and I don't warm up, I can guarantee you my first drive, you'll hear my right shoulder crack. It's without a doubt. So just kind of activating your joints and your muscles. I'm going to show you one little extra thing because you might have these at home. So these are resistance bands. Now this one's kind of tight, so I'm not going to put it on my arms, but they come in different, oh geez, got a tip. So they come in different colors, right? Super easy to find. You get them on Amazon. They'll be at your door probably by the end of the day. Okay, so usually yellow is light, and I'll put them on my forearms, and I will stretch them out. Green is tighter, so it's very hard for me to do it, okay? But I will stretch out. Once again, I'm working on my shoulders, activating my forearms. I will also take this green band, and I will put it over my legs, okay? This is called the crab walk. You will find lots of very strong players, people who work on their fitness and are golfers will have these bands in their bag. They use them to warm up. So they go over your thighs, and you're going to do crab walks. So you're in a squat position, and you're just going to be activating your quads and your glutes. So I always tell people that I'm teaching, you know, men are naturally bigger than us as women, right? Upper body. So when I teach them, they have a tendency to take complete control over their upper body. Now, if you were to compare a female and a male, both using their upper body, the male's going to outdrive them every time, even if they're swinging improperly, because why? They're stronger. You know, that's that's biology, right? So as women, we need to make sure if we want to hit it further, we want to make sure that we're accurate and having good swings. In my opinion, the three most important body parts to focus on are your core, your glutes, and your quads. So core for stability, glutes for power. I promise it's here for a reason, not just to annoy you. It's here, and your quads, because those are our strongest muscles on our body. That's how females are built. We're built to carry babies, right? And we're built to have these strong muscles, to be lifting things. So use them. That's what's really going to help you. But it's so important. You got to activate before you go out.
So talking about,
and it won't take you too long.
No, that's so good. The stretching is amazing. Like I love, I use a lot of the club as well, where we're just doing a lot of, you know, rotator cuff or doing a lot of over the shoulder. I really like that. I think that's, yeah, you can grip down on the golf club and do that. And really get your arms moving and get your shoulders feeling good. But so you're talking about, like, you know, strengthening. And I know that, you know, everybody wants to do cardio so we can drop, you know, drop weight and drop calories and stuff. But strength training is really the key to getting stronger. Being able to swing that club faster. Your arms, you know, it needs to be like a relaxation. Arms need to be able to swing, but body needs to be stronger. You can move faster. You can explode harder off the ground, right? Ground reaction forces. But to be able to do that, the at-home training right now, because I know personally I don't go to a gym right now. What kind of things can we do to strength train at home? Just a few things that maybe we could do to get our glutes stronger. What kind of exercises can we do?
Okay, so I agree wholeheartedly. And what I want you to know, everything that I'm going to show you can be modified based upon what your abilities are, where you are right now, strength and conditioning wise, what, you know, you might have some physical limitations. I want you to know that everything can be progressed. And it's super important when you are working out to have better form and go lighter than it is to think, oh, I'm going to lift heavy. Like, I would rather have you have better form and more reps with a lighter weight than less reps and a heavy, you know, and put strain on your body. It's just not worth it. And what I will also tell you is lifting will not make you bulky. That is like one of the most the biggest misconceptions, females, we're just not built that way. And I will also tell you that lifting will also burn more calories, because what happens is when you're doing a cardio workout, you're burning calories in the moment. But what happens is when you're lifting, okay, when you lift, you're putting tiny, tiny, like hairline tears in your muscles. And so what happens is throughout the day, after you lift, your body needs energy and it needs fuel. That's why you need to be eating properly, but it's going to repair those muscles. So you're actually burning more calories throughout the day from a lift workout than you are in a cardio. So I am all about strength and conditioning. So like I said, choose a weight that you're comfortable with. So I'm going to show you some upper body stuff because we were just concentrating a little bit on legs. I'll show you leg stuff as well, but upper body. So I have 10s right here. That does not mean you need to use 10s. If you want to use 3s, you want to use water bottles, you want to use 5s, 8s, whatever it may be, you have to choose what's comfortable for you. And what I will also say is it's not a weight that you can do 1 or 2 reps of. It's what can you do 10 reps of. That way your first one is just as strong as your 10. Like you should be starting to feel tired on your 8th rep, not like your 2nd or 3rd, okay? So I'm gonna call this level 1, okay? So level 1, you would choose a lighter weight. I'll go sideways so you can see. And you would do simple bicep curls, okay? I think everyone knows a bicep curl. Now, form, very important. We don't want to have anything, this would be too heavy. So straight up, straight down, shoulders down. Bicep curl. Now, because we always like working the second wave. I call it, my husband and I call it the second wave. It's this thing, when you wave and it waves twice, okay? So we're gonna do tricep kickbacks. So that would be here, and you're kicking back, okay? You can also bend over this way, but you also have a flat back. So when you're working out, I really recommend you work out in front of a mirror. It doesn't have to be a big, massive, fancy gym. Trust me, I've been working out in my bedroom for 7 years. But that way you can make sure you have great form. So you have tricep kickback, okay? And then you have flies. You do not want the arms to go here. That's not the business, right? We're going right here. Now, that's level 1. You would do each of those moves separately, okay? You would do 10 reps, and I personally do 3 sets of that. So I would do 3 sets of biceps, 10 reps each. Now, if you want to make it harder, you can do that same thing and go heavier, or you can do something called a compound movement. So let me show you what compound means. Compound means more than one, right? So you would do a bicep curl, bend over, tricep kickback, in, fly. That would be 1 rep. You would do 10 of those. The reason why that's harder is because my 1 rep was what? 3 moves. 1, 2, 3. So when you think about it, if you're doing 10, you're doing 30 reps.
And that's
It's a lot.
No,
so
that's so.
what I would go ahead,
Mary.
Jay.
No. I was just saying, like, it's really important to be able to do the weight training at home and the weight training. But I feel like a lot of people think that they have to do a lot of it, or they have to work out for 45 minutes. You mean like we can do it for like 10, right? 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes on your hands, right? Planking. You mean like you can bust out the compound move. Like you can really just get a little bit in. It makes a big difference. Yes.
Yeah, so a simple move like you just mentioned about core and planking. So planking, you have a couple of options with planking. So you have a full plank, You can make it more challenging and do 4-arm plank, or you can amp it up and hold for 10 seconds, go down, and then push back up. Now here's the thing. How do you make that harder? Start out, try 20 seconds. Do a 20-second hold. Then your next challenge is 30-second hold and 45 seconds. This is something that you can do literally watching a commercial on TV, right? Drop down and hold the plank while you're watching TV. And there's just so many different ways you can do it. Now, say if you can't get in a full plank right now, you can put your knees down and you just put your arms out more. Arms go out, you're on top of your knees, always right here so you don't put pressure on your joints, okay? But you can modify everything. Same thing with push-ups. Everything can be modified. So the importance is to always move your body. You know, what happens is if so many times people in the wintertime, they come back, you know, unless like me in Florida, but like they come back and they haven't really done a whole lot when it comes to golf specific muscles. Maybe they've gone on a treadmill, maybe they've gone on an elliptical, but the thing is, if you don't use it, you lose it. and it's, I know it's so frustrating for so many amateurs to come back, start playing in April, and they feel like they're starting all over again. But this, maybe you can't hit balls and you can't play all winter, but this is stuff that you can be doing to keep your body acclimated all season. And that way you're not behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, I love what you were talking about earlier. Everybody's doing the Peloton right now, which I think seems really fun. I haven't done it yet, but I have some girlfriends that are doing it. And the fact that everybody, if you're a runner, you know, I mean, your hips, your body, everything's moving forward. Golf is rotary. So doing those, I love that. You show those, you know, hip flexors, the openers, and there's a bunch of different things. But if you are a runner, or you are sitting on the Peloton bike and you are doing things and you are a golfer, you definitely need to just, you know, pay attention to that, because it does really lock you up.
And always make sure you're using your muscles and not your joints. You know, how many people will come in and say that they have tennis elbow, right? Mm-hmm. So whenever you're lifting, that's why it's super important to find the weight that's right for you, not for me, not for Gia, right? You want to find the weight that's right for you, and you always want to be pulling from the muscle, not from the joint, because then that defeats the whole purpose of the workout. You always want to be using the muscles.
Yeah, I have, these are 4-pound weights, and I'll do, you know, if I go, you know, certain things like flies and stuff like that, if I'm going higher reps, like I'll go lighter, 4 pounds, 5 pounds, and just, you know, 15 reps, and you start to feel it, and it really does make a big difference. But just remember, you don't have to do a lot, right? You really don't. You just have to do something. Let's just touch on.
You can literally do a wall sit.
I missed that. What'd you say?
You can literally do a wall sit. You know, like while you're waiting for the commercial, you can go up and just be sitting. Yes. You know, it's simple things like that. And if you want to make it heavier, you know, lift a 2-pound weight over your head while you do it. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be crazy. You know, it's simple moves.
Yeah, and all these do really make a big difference in your golf game. So just remember, anything you're doing, anything you're adding to your routine, with stretching, with yoga, with any type of fitness, it will show up in your golf game. Let's touch on nutrition just briefly. We have a few minutes. It's 1 o'clock. We're going to go a few minutes past. And if anybody can hang out with us, that's cool. But let's just talk a little bit about nutrition, because I know a lot of people just kind of grab what they can grab when they're at the course, or I know a lot of people are eating nuts, and I know, you know, nuts are really, really caloric, and you know, maybe not as smart as just getting, you know, raw almonds, or what would you recommend, or what do you like to eat on the golf course? I have some great recipes that we're going to share with you guys, and some other things that we can talk about. But Meetmarin, what do you like to eat on the golf course?
Well, I will tell you that I love all your recipes. I wish that I was like as creative as you are. I am probably the polar opposite. So like you have your niche, and mine is the grab and go kind of person, right? So I tend to grab a hard-boiled egg. That's usually my go-to. I will have some kind of rice cake, and I will have, I have my granola bars. I will say one of my favorite nuts is Baruka nuts. It's the creator of my superfood shake that I drink, but it's something that you won't find on the shelves, which I think is really cool. Like, it's literally a superfood. I always stay hydrated, very important, even when it's not hot out. And I always try to have a mix. No matter what it is, I try to take a protein, I try to take a fruit, and I try to take a fiber-filled carb, because I don't want to totally spike my blood sugar level and then crash. And I will say, when I eat, I do eat every 6 holes. I always, that way I'm never crashing, because I know before I was conscious of that, I would always crash around like the 14th, 15th hole, when I'm trying to like finish strong, and it never worked out. So I always try to keep that in my bloodstream, but that way you're counterbalancing the sugar with that protein, and with fiber. Fiber is very important. Another thing that I do too is I will, I'm a snacker. So I will literally eat a full bell pepper. Like, I'm one of those, like, I'll just bite into it like it's an apple.
Does that, actually.
So and that's easy. Cucumbers, because you got to remember, when you're eating veggies, that's also water. So you're subconsciously intaking and increasing your hydration without even having to, drink bottles of water.
Yeah, so just some really quick ideas, things that I like to do. I'll take a whole grain, keeping the whole grains, a whole grain piece of bread, and I'll do a little almond butter on it, and some honey. That is super easy to pre-make and bring with you. I found these awesome reusable bags that I adore. Amazon, amazing. They come in different sizes. And what I'll do is I'll make wraps. So they have those cheese wraps that are out now that are really low carb. Then they have a bunch of different whole grain wraps. And I'll do things like tuna salad. I'll do, hummus. And I'll wrap them up, and then I'll put paper towel on them, and I'll stick them in my nice little bags. And I'll put them either in a little cooler bag, or I can stick this bag directly in my cooler cart at the golf course, and then I'll just pop them out and eat them. And it's so, it's about the preparation and kind of just getting it done ahead of time. That really does make the difference. But like you said, hard-boiled eggs always work. One of my fitness trainers years ago, he always would have an apple and a mozzarella stick at the same time, and he would eat one and then eat the other, and he always would say, keep them kind of level, keep them focused. So you want to be like you said, a carb, a protein, and a little bit of sugar in there is always going to kind of keep you going. And you'll see some people, some players will eat every 3 holes, every 6 holes is great. You can even ask, depending on what type of golf club you're at, you can even ask, you can drop off your favorite protein and give it to the chef and say, hey, I'm playing today after 9 holes. I'd love, or at the end of my round, I'd love, love a protein shake made. And you can, I'm sure they could accommodate. That might be something a bunch of your friends might want to do too. But what we'll do is we're going to kind of wrap this up. What we're going to do is we're going to put together a few recipes. I have a great tuna recipe that is like one of my favorites, super low calorie, because I use Greek yogurt instead of mayonnaise. And it's so flavorful. It's really, really good. So I'm going to give you guys that. And we'll send a few other recipes along with the exercises that Miss Meetmarin gave us today. And then you'll be able to hopefully try some at home and do some at the golf course if it in the ladies' locker room or wherever it kind of makes sense for you. So I'd like to thank the MGA for getting us going with this first event. I would like to kind of tease our next one, which is going to be Thursday, March 25th. And I'm really excited because our guest is going to be a woman who is a motivational speaker. She's a trainer, she's a coach, she's a golf professional, and she supercharges people's lives. She's really awesome, just like Meetmarin is. And we're so appreciative that you could join us, Meetmarin, and give us some really great information today and a couple things that we can, get our golf games going and get us stronger and more confident. So thank you. So
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So thank you, ladies. I hope we'll chat more next time, and we look forward to seeing you on the 25th. Thanks for signing up. See you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Gia. Thank you, Lauren.